Mine does.
I can't do vinyasa on a Friday now without the smell of tobacco because I'm usually right next to him. I've got an association. Because his cigarette out his.
Oh, that Tony.
No, that's the other Tony.
Oh, that's another Tony.
No, there's Tony as in like Fran and Tony's Tony.
That Tony too started his CT as well.
Right.
There's a couple of Tonys.
We're talking about like
Tony and
Tony,
and Thomas.
yeah. That's what I was talking about, yeah.
Macedonian, sorry, that's it.
Bandhas, guys. Bandhas. I'm not sure where it is. That's always a mystery.
I know.
You got to have the
I really want to read
the
that.
Bandhas.
Let's eat and then do bundle work.
Perfect timing, eh? Bandhas straight after food.
253.
253, thank you.
Oh.
It's like anyone ever spent a heavy meaning on like the last time we spoke about it, or is it like the same?
You've done this selection before.
No pins.
No pins.
With who?
Without we already read it. We already read it.
With Amy?
I haven't.
Never heard that.
Yeah, sometimes the lectures might just be repeated.
Yeah, but which is good. Yeah, it was actually my second class. So
With me?
Huh?
With me? Or with,
Yeah.
with Amy?
Yeah, it's yes, that's it.
So that's maybe a sign that would come from Sir.
I think it just shows that.
What did you say your YouTube thing was that we should watch? The
21 steps.
21 steps. Thank you. I started writing it down, then didn't finish.
I got a crown.
Everton.
So we'll just read that first part. What is definition? What is a bandha? A bandha is a lock or bind in yoga, which is performed in order to direct and regulate the flow of prana, life force energy, to certain parts of the body, also referred to as an energetic lock. Bandha was practiced by yogis of the past to promote energy flow and maintain optimal health. So the bandhas are locks that we can perform. There's 5 main bandhas that we work with. Who knows which ones they are?
Hasta Bandha.
Hasta bandha. Which is what? Hasta bandha is which bandha?
Feet. Hands.
Hands. And
Mula
Mula bandha, which is the root lock.
Uddiyana Bandha.
Uddiyana bandha is the stomach or abdominal lock. Jalandhara bandha, which is the throat lock, chin lock, and the last one, Pada bandha, which is the
Feet.
These are the 5 bandhas that you need to know, really. As a yoga teacher, you need to understand these bandhas because they're important. They're an important part of our asana and pranayama practice. We use them both in asana and in pranayama, and they're important to understand and to learn. Now,
the bandhas clearly called out here on those names that we just said.
yep. So in that diagram at the top, see you can see Mula bandha, Uddiyana bandha, and Jalandhara bandha.
Okay.
In that diagram, yeah. So that's a good place to start. Looking at that diagram, we can see Mula bandha to lift the impurities, the mala, up to the fire. And then the Uddiyana bandha to hold the impurities close to the fire, to burn them, and evaporate amrita to replenish the lake of the mind. And then Jalandhara Bandha to prevent Amritya from falling into the fire. Now, what in the hell is going on there? Any ideas? What is that all about? Who knows, eh? It's a mystery. Well, to lift the impurities up to the fire, what is Mula Bandha? Mula Bandha is the root lock. What are we actually doing in the root lock?
It's engaging the pelvic floor, yeah.
We're engaging the pelvic floor muscles. Yep. If we want to be even more specific.
The location, in between what is it, your anus and your genital.
Yep. What do we call that?
Perineum.
Perineum. That is actually the spot for men. For women, it's slightly different. Do we know where it is for the women?
It's further in, isn't it?
Further up, further in, further up.
Yeah, whatever.
Top of the cervix.
Top of the
I'm like, I'm sitting
Can you engage that area?
Yes.
I'm doing it now.
Yeah.
No, I don't know.
Generally speaking, Mula Bandha is the engagement of the muscles that you engage when you're stopping yourself from peeing. You're in midstream and you pee and you go up. You know, someone walks in the room or whatever and you go,
It's like a cat.
yeah, that.
Yeah.
Can we all just try that now? You're doing it?
Oh yeah, I got excellent control. They gave me a plastic cup. Said you've got too much water in your bladder for the X-ray. Can you just let a cup out, please? Then come back.
Just a couple.
Yeah, it was not fun.
All right, let's sit up for this. Let's sit up for this.
Not fun.
I can do it from here.
Do it from there. Then. Sitting up or lying down. I want you to bring your attention to your Mula Bandha area, and when you're ready, just engage your Mula Bandha and hold that engagement, hold those muscles. And I want to know how long you can hold that for. Let me know when you have to let it go. Okay, one's let go. Anyone else?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know what's going on its own.
Wants to go on its own, yeah.
Yeah, when I realized when I not doing it, I could do it again. So I was like, oh, I let go of that, even though again.
It's a weird
It's
one.
gone.
It's a weird one.
Well, you can
Yeah,
Fade
let
away.
go food as well. It's kind of just, you let go when your mind lets go. Like I could stay like that
Yeah, I
for
feel
like
like
a long time.
Mm.
If my mind stayed on task.
Well, I mean, there's two things going on here. One is it's an energetic thing, and it's a muscular thing, it's a physical thing. So the physical thing requires the contraction of those muscles, and it's muscles. And what do you have to do to make muscles work
Use it.
well? You have to use it, you have to exercise it, exactly. So when I work with various, say, deeper pranayama techniques where you're doing a lot of Mula Bandha engagement, I often find that people struggle a little bit at the start because they just haven't got the connection and they haven't exercised that muscle so much.
Well, I also think the harder I focused on it, the more difficult it was. Whereas if I'm just sitting here doing it now, I'm not being so forceful about it, it's quite easy.
And And there's a level of engagement which well, there is, yeah. There's like an edge to it in a sense. That you could just engage it very subtly. And ultimately that's really the key, is a subtle engagement. Because initially when I say engage it, everyone's like squeezing the buttocks, squeezing the genitals, squeezing everything you can.
And that's like that, you can't say that. But then if you've just got that
But then,
gentle-
so even those who said, no, I think I've let it go, but it's still there a little bit, then maybe you are actually still engaging the right spot. Just let go of all the surrounding muscles that actually aren't necessary. So it's like this fine attunement to the spot.
Yeah, because it's like you feel like you tighten your stomach, everything, and then you sort of let go of those, but you've still got it there.
Now, what are those muscles for? Did we say what do we use them for? Like physically?
Urination.
Stopping the urinating. Great. What other things go on down there?
So much. So much for us anyway, for us ladies. I don't get you started. You weren't in yesterday's lesson.
I think this is more related to like birth.
To
Birth.
birth.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, I guess. I mean, I wasn't thinking of that specifically, but for sure. Yeah.
Because I mean, like now after my vaginal like birth, and also like during the pregnancy, so there's so much leakage. When you do like sneezing, then maybe just like and then after maybe 1 year, like of vaginal birth, then still leakage. And then like the people normally see, I mean like the woman, I mean after like vaginal birth, we do need to see a special physio for pelvic floor to practice.
And what are they doing? What's the
Yeah,
exercises they get?
Yeah.
Pelvic-
So
this kind of
pelvic
like
floor, I mean which is for like Pilates and there are a lot of
So sometimes they give you a cone that you've got to put in there to exercise around.
cone.
Yeah, that you apply internally. Yeah,
So you're building the muscles there that make that whole area more vital, more more healthy, more. You're then able to, if you've given birth and there is such a thing as leakage or whatever, then you're starting to gain more control of your urogenital area. Yeah. Right. So urogenital. That's urogenital is the name. So it's helping to control the excretory stuff. Yeah. So being able to regulate your excretory action. What's one of the other kind of things that happen down there?
defecating or sex.
Yeah, sexually. Yeah. What happens in sexual kind of union action?
Ejaculation, stuff like that.
So if you have no control, then this is particularly for a male. But for a male, if you have no control down there, then it's just like it can be over in a minute or so.
And what's that word you were using yesterday, Jules? I'm trying to find it.
Which word?
The brahmacharya.
Brahmacharya.
Brahmacharya, controlling your. How do you say it? Brahmacharya.
Brahmacharya.
Controlling sexual
Energy.
desires. I don't think that's.
It's more proper use of energy.
Yeah.
It's not specific to that, but I mean it's a big part of it.
So some philosophy, some ideas is in certain practices or certain approaches to sexuality within spirituality. This is where we start to get a little bit tantric, I guess. Is that particularly for a man is to control his orgasm, or his not so much his orgasm, but his release of his semen. So with your real deep connection to your Mula Bandha, then there is a greater potential to be able to control that, to withhold your sperm. Now, whether that's just because you want to have more, I don't know, longer, sustainable, enjoyable sexual union, or whether it's actually because you want to be brahmacharistic and contain your energy, because when we release the sperm, we're also releasing energy, more so than a woman. This is
All your
just the
minerals
one
go.
thing. Sorry?
All your minerals go.
This is the one thing that is different between male and female. So physically, learning to work with your Mula Bandha is a boon for your urogenital system, both for sexual energy containment and for your control of your just urogenital factors. Now, energetically, what's happening is this thing called apana. I don't know if we looked at the values yet in pranayama. Some of you are nodding yes, so we may have done that. Some of you may have, some may not.
It's the downwards movement of energy, isn't it?
But the prana, the energy, the life force, has different ways in which it moves through the body. One of the movements is the expelling or outward or sometimes called downward movement of energy. So it's the excretory energy, it's the energy of releasing, of letting go, which is something that needs to be done all the time, where each out-breath is apana. Each time you go to the toilet or you let go of something physically, the energy to let go of that stuff physically is the apana energy. So apana is the releasing, the excretory, the letting go energy of prana. Prana itself as a vayu is the drawing in energy. So inhale is the prana, drawing in the prana, and the exhale is the apana, the letting go of the energy, letting go of the prana. So with apana, one of the main areas of the apana energy, we sort of break up the different vayus into different parts of the body. So you've got the apana is generally shown to be around your pelvic region, because that's where all the excretory energy happens. Apart from, let's say, the out-breath. Out-breath obviously comes out of the lungs, but all the other sort of actions of letting go, physical letting go of something, shit, piss, sperm, whatever it is, comes out from down below. So that is just a natural process of letting go. But the idea with Mula Bandha is when you engage your Mula Bandha energetically, what's happening, it's almost like you're creating an energetic trapdoor. So normally the trapdoor's open and the energy is flowing out, which is fine, which is normal. But with pranayama, one of our intentions is to enhance and vitalize the pranic energy within. So if we can create, even if it's just momentarily, a resistance to the letting go energy, so it's like the trapdoor, we shut it, and so the energy that's going out is now, can't get out, so it comes back in. So it's like this extra extra little boost of energy through the contraction of your Mula Bandha. So Mula Bandha, every time you engage your Mula Bandha, energetically, when you're working with pranayama, it's like you're just giving whatever the pranayama that you're working with is, you're giving the whole pranic system that extra little boost. It's like trapdoor closed, energy's back in. And so it's like what the word pranayama means, prana, yama is an expansion of energy. So a Mula Bandha is a great way just to boost and enhance your pranayama. So does that make sense? And then back to the physical part. Yes, we're kind of, enhancing the urogenital aspect, but there's also, when we're talking about pelvic floor muscles are like the inroad into the inner muscles of the body, like the inner core. So essentially, when you engage in Mula Bandha, you're helping to tap into your inner core. Particularly if you bring in the Uddiyana Bandha as well. Uddiyana is the abdominal lock. And what are the abdominals? They're often seen as our main sort of core muscles, aren't they?
Yeah.
So when you're engaging abdominals and you're bringing in your pelvic floor, or your Mula Bandha, you're giving the whole inner core, because our core is not just the abdominals. The core is all the inner muscles of the body, really. It's the muscles that are around the spine. We could call all of that our core. Core. We're going into the core. The core of our body is the spine. That's the center. So any muscles in and around the spine is really our core. The abdominals are kind of like what we see as the main muscles that connect to our core, let's say. But really any contraction of muscles around the spine is working your core. Now your spine is the inner part of the body, it's the core of the body. And so that's what requires to be strong and stable, to have a good, strong and stable posture. So when we're working with, let's say, dynamic postures, we want our spine, our inner core, to be as stable as we can. So core engagement is what we want. Now, we engage the abdominals, but if you bring in the pelvic floor muscles too, it just gives you that extra little connection to the core of who we are.
How did you pronounce is it
Uddiyana
Uddiyana?
Bandha. Just quickly grab that. So just showing you quickly here a picture of where your Mula Bandha is for male and for female.
Read that section of that book
Male.
multiple times.
That's in the book as well.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, but in the
There you go.
Oh, it's not different one.
just a couple of pages back.
Forwards.
Right.
Mula Bandha.
Oh, forward. 66.
So how do we explain
266. It's like there you go.
okay. So Nikki,
Yeah.
how do you understand or explain that how do you say correlation between bandhas and chakras?
Good question. So basically, there is that correlation in the sense that when you're working your bandhas, you're activating physically those certain areas, those certain muscles, but energetically, actually, you're stimulating chakras as well. So the Mula Bandha is your root chakra, root chakra. It's your Muladhara chakra, essentially. You're Uddiyana Bandha is your solar plexus chakra. And your Jalandhara Bandha is your Vishuddhi chakra, your throat chakra.
Do you say you're stimulating the chakras or stimulating?
So you're stimulating the muscles. We're working contracting muscles. That's what we're doing. That's what we know how to do with our body. We know how to contract muscles. So we're contracting, muscularly contracting certain areas of the body. That muscular contraction aligns to the energetic contraction of that area too, or energetic stimulation. It's kind of the same way when we were looking, those of us who did yin recently, and we talked about how when we work our fascia, our myofascia, when you're stretching or compressing tissue, connective tissue, but within that connective tissue also you're working your meridians, your energy channels that weaves through the tissue of the body. So you kind of can't do one without the other. Well, maybe you could do something energetic without doing it physically, actually.
It's really hard
To do something energetically without doing
to
physically.
engage one of the bandhas without the chakra. Is that what you mean?
No, without the physical action involved.
Oh, what you
Yeah, you can definitely do that.
So that's more just like you're thinking that area, you're bringing your attention to that area, and you can stimulate that area in a different way. It won't be the same way. Physically is a different way.
You gain a lot more control and alignment by doing that at the same time. Like if you practice that a lot, your control of the bandha increases exponentially.
Absolutely.
There's like a good section of Kundalini Tantra on like the root chakra practices in it. That's a lot of it is just mental engagement of the
visualizing.
Yeah.
So then Uddiyana Bandha is to hold the impurities close to the fire, to burn them and evaporate Amrita, to replenish the lake of the mind. So what is this fire, do you reckon? Anyone got any idea what this fire is?
Prana, energy.
Yeah.
Life force.
So,
I think if you connect all three of them, the life force goes through. So like even though you connect with Mula Bandha, it's not like it's falling through in this thing. It doesn't connect with all.
yeah, absolutely. That's absolutely right. Well, it just becomes more powerful when you're connecting them. That's why when you do the Mula Bandha, the Uddiyana Bandha and the Jalandhara Bandha together, we call that Maha Bandha. Maha
A great lock.
means the great lock. Maha Bandha. So that picture of the three there, individually that's what they are. Together they are called Maha Bandha, the great lock. But to understand this fire thing, we need to understand another aspect of this Panchakosha or Pranavayu. So this image here is an image which shows the 5 main Pranavayus. So that's the Apana. But I want you to see also the stomach. The stomach is the Samana. So it's a different one.
Oh yeah.
So down here is the Apana, which we've talked about, which we use Mula Bandha for releasing energy. So the arrows are pointing down, it's releasing energy. The Samana is the energy at the belly. The Samana is the energy of the digestive system. Essentially, what's in the belly? Our digestive system. Samana is located between the heart and the navel, this area. It activates and controls the digestive system, the liver, intestines, pancreas and stomach, and their secretions. So all our digestive organs have certain actions in them. So they secrete hormones, they secrete blood, they secrete fluid, whatever it is they're doing. So there's a certain energy required to bring this secretion action into place. And so it's all prana, but we divide the prana into certain aspects according to what the prana is actually doing within this moment. So within the digestive area, we call that, what the prana is doing there, samana. Samana is responsible for transformation. It's the transforming energy. So most of our digestive organs are transforming food into energy, aren't they? Really?
Samana Bandha.
No. It's Uddiyana Bandha. Uddiyana Bandha is working on the samana area. Samana is the prana. It's the energy that transforms within the digestive system. So relates to the assimilation and the distribution of nutrients in the body. So we eat, we drink, it goes into our stomach, from our stomach it goes into our intestines, and then, the spleen is active there, there's the kidneys, the liver, all these various different organs are having a certain role in transforming food into energy, into nutrients, or into waste. As what's no good, we're going to send it down and get apana to take over. Yeah, apana is like, okay, now it's time just to get this shit out of the body. That's apana's role. Apana is a certain type of prana. But within the transformational aspect of like, okay, what are we going to do with this stuff? We're going to, it's mind-blowingly intelligent. I mean, to consider how intelligent our bodies are, like, okay, we're going to take the proteins and this from here, and that's going to give us energy, and that's going to be a nutrient for this part of the body. It's like doing all this incredible stuff that we're still trying to work out how it does it, but somehow magically it just does. And this is the energy of transformation, and samana is what happens. And so when you transform something, generally speaking, the energy is seen as this energy of fire. Fire is like the transformative element, the element that, that burns stuff to transform it. We cook our food. We cook our food on the fire. And that's what's happening down there. Our food is being cooked again, in a sense.
Agni, is it the...
Agni.
Yeah, digestive, yeah.
Agni is the fire. It's the fire energy. So,
How do you spell it?
Agni,
Mahana.
Samana.
Samana.
Samana. S-A-M.
S-A-M.
A-N-A. Samana. So, now if we go back to Mula Bandha is to lift the impurities up to the fire, and to hold, in Uddiyana Bandha is to hold the impurities close to the fire, to burn them, and then to evaporate Amrita, to replenish the lake of the mind. So,
Amrita is the nectar, isn't it?
Amrit is the nectar of immortality.
Where Kachari comes in, it stimulates the production of it.
So Amrita is the nectar of immortality. So there's another chakra called the Bindu chakra. Now Bindu chakra is one of these lesser known ones, but it's at the back of the head. It's called Bindu. And Bindu is said to produce the Amrita. Amrita is this essence of immortality. So in a sense, it's like a spiritual essence. It's the essence of the nectar that connects us to our spiritual nature. So a lot of the old legends or the old stories, yogic or Hindu traditions, is all about, you know, brewing this nectar, you know, like the whole story, I can't remember off the top of my head now, but it's, you know, Mount Meru is like this holy mountain which represents essentially the spine of the body, and all these allegories of things are out there, but it's all meaning stuff within us. So this nectar or this kind of milk or whatever that they poured in and they brewed and then they drank to gain immortality, this nectar is this essence within our Bindu chakra that is essentially always kind of leaking down and just kind of burnt away by the fire of digestion. So the idea is to retain this, or to, say here, to evaporate the amrita. So rather than the amrita just burning away or dissolving, we evaporate it and we draw it back in and up. So retaining the spiritual connection, so to speak. And so the bandhas help to retain this spiritual energy. So when you're using your Uddiyana Bandha, you're drawing the belly in, which holds the impurities close to the fire. And you're also then helping to transform the amrita to retain it. And the Jalandhara Bandha helps also so that it doesn't, to prevent the amrita from falling into the fire. Well, two things there, I guess. One is to help retain it within here, and then whatever's transformed here is to be able to hold within as well. So you think of your Mula Bandha is preventing the energy from being lost below with your Apana energy, holding it and bringing it back in. Your Jalandhara Bandha, the throat lock, is helping the energy to be retained from above. So from below, from above, and then the Uddiyana Bandha is kind of like grabbing all that energy and drawing it right in and retaining it right there. At the solar plexus, which is, in essence, of all the chakras, I mean, all the chakras hold prana, but the solar plexus is kind of our main storehouse of prana. This is, you think about all the different, when we study the chakras, we'll do that again at some point. The chakras all have a certain aspect of what they do best, a certain connection to different aspects of ourselves. And the solar plexus is about energy. It's about connecting to your personal self, your individual self, the I, me, my, the ego, you could say. The part of ourselves that requires strength, energy, and confidence to be steady and good and powerful in our own two shoes, in a sense. This is your confidence place, your place of self-worth, of being strong in your own power. So it's all about power. This is our power center. So this is where we draw the power in. This is where we hold the energy. Think about all the kung fu and all the kind of, all the main sort of martial arts people. It's all about, being strong there. Yeah, punch me in the belly. I'm going to hold my energy there and retain it there. And that's all about boosting that energy within here. And funnily enough, the core as well, abdominals. It's all about being being strong here, being strong in our core. It's our place of strength.
When it comes to like yoga asana, like so when you do that like certain pose, like for example like the lotus pose, and even like the warrior 2, warrior 1, I mean like the mula bandha, like strengthening mula bandha is pretty easy for me because you can just like you can squeeze your pelvic floor and but when it comes to like what is that
Uddiyana Bandha.
yeah, Uddiyana Bandha, I don't really like get that like grips of that. I mean like which pose is good for like Uddiyana
It's a
Bandha?
really good question, and I think generally it depends on the posture. But I would say that mostly Mula Bandha is something that you really want to focus on a lot in your asana, because that just gives you that stability from below, which taps into your inner core and gives you strength and power. Now your Uddiyana Bandha, the danger there, if you're like sucking the belly in the whole time, is that you're not necessarily breathing as well as you could or should. Whereas we focus on deep belly breaths, and when you're expanding the belly in a deep belly breath, you're not Uddiyana Bandhaing, are you?
No.
Uddiyana Bandhaing is best achieved on an external retention, Bahir Kumbhaka, when the breath is all out, and then you suck the belly in, so you empty the lungs of the oxygen, so you've got more space to draw the belly in. So what you need to do with Uddiyana Bandha in asana is in a sense, you got to just work with it dynamically, in the sense you can bring it in and out, like with pranayama. And it's not as important as your Mula Bandha. Mula Bandha is a lot more important in asana than Uddiyana Bandha. So some things Uddiyana Bandha would be really useful. So let's say you want to do a really strong core pose. Let's say you want to come into your your crow or crane pose, yeah. So as I'm coming into my crow or crane, I'm going to get my Mula Bandha in, and I'm also going to engage my Uddiyana Bandha to be able to kind of get right into my core and lift and fly. That's when it would be really useful. But if you're just kind of doing, let's say, a warrior 2, you're doing the warrior series, you actually want to breathe nice and deeply and expand the belly. So there it's more important to be in your Mula Bandha. Mula Bandha, if you're really strong in your Mula Bandha, naturally there's going to be a little bit of this core engagement as well. But it's kind of like when you work with Ujjayi, it's like Ujjayi is always about a bit of resistance here. But it's not like you just stop the breath here. You're still breathing down to the belly, rather than just letting the belly completely relax so it's a full yoga breath. It's a slight resistance, but you're breathing into that resistance, so you're still having a deep breath, but it's just not as expansive in the belly as if you're totally relaxing the belly. So it's kind of regulating the abdominal contraction. So you're not, when we're working Uddiyana Bandha in the Bandhas, this is a different story, yeah? This is when you're all the breath out, sucking the belly in, and you're kind of really drawing it in and under the rib cage, and that's, your full Uddiyana Bandha in pranayama, essentially.
Uddiyana Bandha is like the bane of my existence with all bandhas. Just can't seem to coordinate it with everything else.
Say that again?
I just can't seem to coordinate it with the other bandhas for some reason. Like I'm sitting
In
there
the
and focusing.
Mahabandha,
Oh, I'm doing Mahabandha, yeah, but in terms of like while I'm practicing,
while you're doing asana.
yeah, I can't just, it goes out the window.
Yeah. Well, that's it. It's not as important in asana. Mula Bandha, much more important. Focus on Mula Bandha in asana. Uddiyana Bandha, focus it in pranayama. That's my main suggestion. But there are times in forward bends, for example. Forward bends is a great time to bring in your Uddiyana Bandha, yeah? Because you think about even physically, what are we doing here? We're folding forwards, So you want to empty out the lungs, draw the belly in, and it helps you go further forward. If you've got
Full belly
a
breath.
deep breath in, then my belly's going to get in the way. Yeah? But if I let the breath out, suck the belly in, Uddiyana Bandha, come down, I'm going to go a lot deeper in my forward bends. So that's where your Uddiyana Bandha is really useful. Forward bends when you're closing yourself up. Uddiyana Bandha
How do you,
is the bomb.
sorry, how do you pronounce the
Jalandhara Bandha.
Say that for me again, please.
Jalandhara.
Jalandhara.
Jalandhara Bandha.
Jalandhara Bandha.
Jalandhara Bandha.
It's got a little roll, isn't it?
Jalandhara.
Jalandhara
Jalandhara.
Jalandhara. And how do you pronounce? They don't say, they don't use the H. Jalandhara.
Jalandhara. I mean, there might be Jalandhara.
Jalandhara Bandha. Jalandhara Bandha. It's a mouthful.
Bandha.
Yep, well, I don't want to try and make up any more words. I'm very good at that.
Kind of do, actually.
We'll create our
So
own
let's
version of
try our
it.
Mahabandha. Now, of course, we're doing it at the worst time of the day that you can possibly
Yeah.
do it, right after lunch. It's seriously the worst time. We should be doing it first thing in the morning. Empty stomach. We'll just practice it now, not just for the hell of, for the sake of practicing it.
Making us feel
And then tomorrow morning, when you wake up, before you do anything else, practice your Mahabandha a few times on an empty stomach and really get into it. Because what I find, what personally I find, is it just gives you this immediate kind of boost energetically. It's like lifts up the energy straight away. So best thing to do first thing in the morning. Mahabandha 3 times, energy lifted. Don't have to rush for that coffee yet. Wait a little longer. So different ways in which you can do it, but essentially, and then there's different sort of combinations and different variations, but essentially you want to have some deep abdominal breaths first, just to relax the belly. And then when you're ready, we take a deep inhale through the nose. All the breath out of the mouth. You lean forward a little, hands on the thighs. As you squeeze all the air out of the lungs, and then without breath, you engage your locks. Now try to have the arms straight, so it's okay to hunch the shoulders here. But draw the Mula Bandha in and up. Suck the belly in towards the spine, up and under the rib cage, and the chin in towards the chest to engage your Jalandhara Bandha. When you need to breathe, you allow the breath back in. And then you relax the locks, relax the belly. Back to a slow abdominal breath. Take a moment, close the eyes, feel the energy of samana oscillating at the navel. Do it one more time. Really deep inhale through the nose. All the breath out of the mouth. Lean forward a little to squeeze the air out of the lungs. And then engage Mula Bandha, Uddiyana Bandha, Jalandhara Bandha. Chin to the chest, squeeze the throat, belly in and up and under the rib cage. Mula Bandha contracted, holding the palm at your solar plexus. You need to breathe again, try to let the breath back in first, and then slowly release the locks. Come back to a slow abdominal
So that's using all three, yeah.
That's all three, that's Mahabandha.
Mahabandha.
So the physical part, so we've talked a lot about the energetic part of the Uddiyana Bandha, but physically, we have mentioned that it's a boon to all your digestive organs. But if we went back to, I forgot to bring my Gita book today, but if we went back to the Gita book would really just focus the Uddiyana Bandha on the pancreas. The pancreas. Pancreas, what does a pancreas do?
That's a really good question.
It does some kind of purification, but I've forgotten what.
Insulin.
Insulin.
Oh.
It produces insulin. What is insulin?
Regulates your blood sugar.
That's a good question.
A hormone that regulates your blood sugar levels.
Amongst other things. Does a lot of things.
It's done a few other things too, yeah. But so it's about, what is it about? It's about energy. It's giving you, your blood sugar levels is about, what's sugar do? Like naturally sugar gives you energy, doesn't it? Yeah. And when people have problems with their insulin, what are they? They become diabetic.
Diabetes.
What do diabetics do? They're not producing the insulin properly, so they're not regulating their blood sugar levels naturally. So they have to, then either, if it's low, then they have to put in, no, if it's high, I think they, one of the
If
other.
it's high blood sugar, they take insulin.
If it's high blood sugar, they take insulin, inject it. If it's low, they need an external source of sugar, like a Coca-Cola, sugar tablet, something
Orange
which will
juice.
give them orange juice, whatever it is, some external source of sugar to elevate their energy because they've got a lot.
And when you're diabetic, you can go
So we're all constantly
natural.
regulating that through our insulin production. And so ho-hum, we're back to this idea of energy, aren't we? Of like being strong in our own self-sufficient energy. So solar plexus is about self-sufficient energy, being able to be strong in your own energy, not being reliant on, everyone boosting you up. Oh, Mark, you're so good, you're okay, you're good, and that makes you feel good, and that's the only way you're going to be satisfied. No, you're satisfied without anyone giving you any compliments. You're totally, purely fine energetically. I'm good in my own energy. I don't need anyone to boost me up. That's on a kind of energetic level. Physically, it's the same thing, where, and if you weren't, and no one was boosting you up, then you'd be going out to try to get the energy from others. You'd be an energy vampire. Yeah, we know people like that.
There's a few of them about.
Because they are not self-sufficient energetically within their own energy. And so it's the same physically. So it's this, see this correlation now? Correlation between the endocrine glands and the chakras. The chakras are the energetic thing going on, the energetic aspect. And then the glands are like the physical manifestation of what's happening there energetically. And if we look at all the other chakras and all the other endocrine glands, it's a similar story. Adrenaline is produced by the adrenal glands to give us that fight or flight so that we can be strong and powerful and secure and all the rest. So base chakra, safety and security, and so forth. All the different glands relate to the different chakras. So there's that correlation there. So when you're working your Uddiyana Bandha, you're drawing the belly in, up and under the rib cage, you're squeezing your pancreas. Squeezing the pancreas. Because the pancreas is there, and how else are you going to work that organ? There's not many asanas. I guess the forward bend and the back bend, they all will work a little bit. But when you're doing what we just did now, suck the belly in, lift it in and under the rib cage. And if you really get deeply into your bandhas, like you really work those muscles, you're wringing out your pancreas. You're giving it a really good squeeze. Sorry?
I could feel it pull my chest up. Clavicle
Yeah.
goes felt like it was going in.
Yeah. Well, that's then regulating your thyroid gland. Have yours been taken out? Yeah. But still, you still have the energetic blueprint on it.
Yeah.
Even if we've had organs taken out, energetically these organs are still there. The blueprint of those organs is still there. So there's still something going on energetically. And it probably means that you need to maybe do more work in that area than others. Because physically the organ's not there. So you need to you need to work on it more energetically. So for you, probably some Jalandhara bandhas regularly would be a really good thing. And shoulder stand. Well, shoulder stand, you're squeezing the throat. Shoulder stand is all about working your thyroid gland. So regulating thyroid.
And getting older as a male, the prostate and that sort of stuff, that helps. Does that help with that? Because you're pulling everything up and pelvic floor.
Oh yeah,
Bull
I mean,
bandhas,
with
prostate.
the Bulla bandha, yes. Bulla
I
bandha.
mean, the whole thing together.
The whole thing together, that's absolutely.
Yeah. So black milk.
So that's our bandhas. So as you can see, we can use them energetically, physically. They're actually really quite powerful. They're a hard one to just bring into a regular class because they require a bit of understanding. And I actually had a crack at teaching it this morning in my 45-minute aligned class at Virgin, because I thought we're doing bandhas today as our lecture. I'm going to bring it into my 45-minute class.
I've got to come and try one of these 45-minute classes one day just for the hell of it.
And I was thinking, how am I going to keep these guys engaged, for 45 minutes and actually give them a full class, not just, I mean, we just spent an hour and a half just talking about the bandhas. And I still wanted to give these guys a full class, yet somehow I did it. Yeah, I managed to condense a lot of that into maybe 5 to 10 minutes that I spent on the bandhas, gave them a bandha experience, and then we moved on to
You did a sequence?
yeah, still do other asanas.
They teach you that, we're talking about Virgin and I've done a lot of weightlifting, and they teach you that lock down here. It's called something else and some guy invented it, but obviously it's that sound. You lock it, so you keep it's basically you keep the bandha, and then you release it like this. It's all sort of connected, so.
All modern day physical, energetic stuff all comes from yoga originally.
When you're doing a deadlift or...
Oh, everything.
Yeah.
Kettlebells,
Yeah, because they do, because it's like get everything tight and then you put your breath out on the release.
You
when
sort of swallow the breath.
Yeah.
Alright, let's just go across to Hasta Bandha and Pada Bandha. So if we go a couple of pages down after that Mula Bandha diagram, the next page is Jalandhara Bandha, yeah? Underneath that we've got Pada Bandha, the foot, and then below that Hasta Bandha, the hand. So Pada Bandha is the technique in which the soles of the feet are placed on the ground, so the weight is evenly distributed in the triangle formed by big toe, little toe, and ankle.
Oh, so that's what I was like when we're getting into the...
Absolutely, this is what you were instructing us today.
But I didn't realise that's what I was
you
doing.
actually saying. This bandha connects the yogi's body with the earth through the feet. The term comes from the Sanskrit pada, which means foot. Bandha means lock, tighten or harness. So basically here what we're doing in a Pada Bandha, and it's the same essentially with your Hasta Bandha. Yeah? Your Hasta Bandha is when the hand is contacting the earth, Hasta is hand, Pada is foot. When the foot's on the ground, we're working Pada Bandha. When the hand's on the ground, we're working Hasta Bandha. And we're coming back to this idea of a lock. What is a lock? It's creating physical contraction somehow, engaging certain muscles, which will, in the usage of your Pada or your Hasta, is to create connection to the earth, energetic exchange with the earth. So physically rooting down into the earth to ground, and at the same time drawing energy up from the earth to be empowered and uplifted. So if you're just kind of uplifted without being ground, you float away, you fly away. Do you know people like that?
I'm also experienced with that.
We fly away. If you're just grounded without being uplifted, you kind of, you burrow. You burrow into the earth. When you can be grounded and uplifted, then you're super stable, super connected, and super powerfully uplifted. With your feet on the earth. It's the best place to be. This is what we're aiming to be as yogis, fully grounded, connected to the earth, at the same time uplifted and flying with our feet on the earth. So, rooting down through the 3 points and drawing up through the inner arch of the foot for your Bandha. So, watching my foot. 1, 2, 3. These are the 3 points. The ball behind the big toe. This ball here, which is kind of like a few balls really. But let's call it the ball behind the little toe. And your heel, which is the 3rd point of the triangle. So that's what's pressing into the earth. I might lift my toes, spread the toes as well, to connect the pads of the toes to the earth as well. They can also take part in this rooting. But what I don't want to do is then be fully grounded without being uplifted. So if you're fully grounded, this is all through our asana. If you're fully grounded, what happens is our inner arch collapses. And we don't have as much stability as when we lift it. As soon as you lift that inner arch, can you see my inner arch lifting? As soon as I lift that inner arch, what else is happening in my whole leg gets really active here. You know, when it's collapsing, my leg is weak. Yeah, there's this kind of weakness, even though I'm kind of grounded by connecting those points. But as soon as I engage that inner arch, it's like, oh, hello. Now we're strong. Now I'm lifting energy up as well as grounding all at once. So try that. Come to stand. Spread the toes wide. Connect those pads and the heels into the earth. Connect the toes. And then lift those inner arches and feel the legs go really strong as you do so. It's like hot tree trunks. Power. Tree trunks, exactly. Come like the base of the tree there. Stable and strong.
Visualize like the energy coming up to your feet like the roots of the tree.
Now, come into your warrior 2. Yeah, come into your warrior 2. Come into your warrior 2. And now let the arches go. Just go flat on your feet. Let the arches go. Then engage the inner arches. Lift up. engage in Mula Bandha as well. It kind of wants you to engage in Mula Bandha. When you engage a Pada Bandha, it's like Mula Bandha says, hello, I want to come in on this too, isn't it? Yeah? And suddenly, it's almost like this domino effect. Bandha down below, Bandha here. There's even a little bit of Bandha there going on for me, a little bit of Uddiyana. It's like Bandhas all around.
Butter mum. Creative.
Got a Bandha.
Very good yoga. Just do it.
So, today's class, when both you and the two of you particularly, who were doing a lot of the standing asanas, these are the cues you want to bring in. Now, while we're standing here, while we're in this pose, lift up the inner arches, ground through the 3 points of the feet, the ball behind the big toe, the ball behind the little toe, the heel of the foot. Ground there, send the energy down into the earth. Lift up through the inner arches.
Okay.
Really strong there, grounded and uplifted at the same time. Connected. Last bandha is Hasta Bandha. Hasta Bandha is the bandha of the hand. So here it's a similar idea. Hasta Bandha, in which the hands are placed on the ground with the fingers spread and the palms lifted off the mat in a cupping or tented manner. The term comes from Hasta, which means hand, and Bandha, which is lock, harness or tighten. Bandha is also known as locks because they lock the prana or life force energy in the body and direct it where needed through the nadis. So the Hasta Bandha is a similar idea. It's kind of like tenting the hand. I like that word, tenting. That really makes sense. Tent the hand, cup the hand or tent it. So it's like you're creating almost like a tent there. But you've still got the heel of the hand. You're not lifting like that. It's not quite like that. The heel of the hand's still there. That's part of our connection. Yeah. These are like the balls of the feet. It's like the heels of the hand. So they're connecting to the earth. The knuckles are also connecting, as in the knuckles behind these guys here. These ones, if anything, are lifting slightly. Fingertips are connecting, and then the tenting is like lifting up through the inner part of the palm, which is tricky to do. But when you're really focusing on both pressing and lifting at once, then suddenly this all becomes really strong and powerful too.
And that is this what we should be doing when we're in plank, yes?
Absolutely. In plank, in chaturanga,
Yep.
in handstand, in all your arm bars, down the dog.
Yeah. Isn't it exciting when all those things come together?
Any posture, any asana that creates pressure on the hands. Now, let's just do this. Hands weak, no Hasta Bandhas, but knees back a little bit, so you're bringing weight into the wrists, yeah? And just feel how, we've got weight there. Actually, lift up maybe into plank. And then bring in the Hasta Bandha. And then start to ground through those sections and lift the inner part. And what's the difference?
Strength.
Yeah, strength.
Strength.
And I feel like I'm
Using the whole
different
arm.
muscles as well.
All the arm muscles are getting coming along and say, hey, we want to be part of this. Yeah.
Yeah, well, everything seems to be imbalanced. There's a lot.
I feel like energy gets stuck when you don't do it. It's like you
Yeah.
feel the energy here,
Yeah.
and when you're not connecting it, not letting it flow. And if you're letting it flow, you build strength. So that's how I felt today.
Yeah, good. And even you really put a lot of pressure on the wrists. With the Hasta Bandha, I mean the pressure's still there, but with all the other muscles engaged, it's like it does take that pressure away a little bit from the wrists.
You feel it just go up almost, like, yeah.
So whenever we're doing any kind of arm balancing, you know, back to this guy, Hasta Bandha, Uddiyana and Mula Bandha, all those bandhas are really helping to lift up and fly, make it stronger. You can't do arm balancing without your bandhas, really. Bandhas are such an essential part of your arm balancing.
I don't even know where to start with that.
That's a start.
Oh. Velvet leggings are slippery.
One of the things you can even get them more on the market if you can. Use your, so you actually use your finger muscles as well.
Practice makes perfect. There we go, Nikki. By the end of Thailand, I want to be able to do one of those. I reckon we can work on that.
Absolutely. We'll certainly do a bit of that. Look, I think we've pretty much covered everything I wanted to cover. I haven't managed to squeeze it
1 minute before time.
into the right time. However, a couple of things before you go. Your homework would be to actually read through the rest of this. So a lot of those notes there are from the Yoga Pradipika. Yoga Pradipika is another great ancient text, not as ancient as, say, the Yoga Sutras, but still, I think it's from the 15th, 16th century, maybe, something like that. So a lot of it's written very kind of poetically, in a sense. Such as, this Mahabandha is the most skillful means for cutting away these snares of death. It brings about the conjunction of the Triveni, Ida, Pingala and Shushum, and carries the mind to Kedar, the space between the eyebrows, which is the seat of Shiva.
Yeah, I'm glad you can't translate it.
So, you know, it's poetic in a sense. It all has a certain meaning, but it requires a bit of investigation and study. But have a read, just out of interest, and just see where it takes you. What I would like you all to do for your homework is to record yourself teaching the Mahabandha. So a little recording of the Mahabandha. Now, if you want some suggestions on how you might do that, have a look at the one I do again in my Sparkly Yoga YouTube channel under Pranayam 101. There is a Bandhas video that I made. You can use that as a blueprint, if you like. I want you to do your own way. I think I probably babble on there a bit too much. I think mine's probably 10 to 15 minutes. I'd rather you do a 5-minute thing.
So is this only for the lecture, or is it with the asana?
Sorry?
It's for teaching of theory, or is it with the asana?
For this recording, I will do just as a pranayam,
Okay.
as the Mahabandha pranayam.
Yep.
So Mahabandha, when we do the Mahabandha, you know, like those 3 pictures all together, I put that in. I mean, it can be its own thing, but we can make it. We can lump it into pranayam because essentially it's doing pranayam.
And Dom's teaching next week, so we don't need to do it later.
No, that's right. No.
I'm teaching at
Now,
5.
were we supposed to do a lesson plan for homework last week?
Yes.
And I'm
Yes,
teaching
no,
at 5.
that's what I thought. Not everybody got that.
Yeah. Last week's homework was a lesson plan.
Okay, so I'm just going to ask.
You weren't imagining things.
I wasn't imagining.
We sort of didn't have one. We've done nearly everything.
Well, yeah, you
One
should.
might have one, yeah,
I mean, ultimately, you would like to come out of this with a few under your belt.
And so then, when you say a lesson plan, like my 16 pages for like 1/4 is obviously overkill.
Yeah, I'm saying it's overkill. I would like it to be 2 pages.
Okay, so you would like maybe the postures, the breath,
A few points,
okay, cues.
a few cues. Potentially some of the, you know, whatever, there's a couple of things that you might say within the thing, like a couple of benefits.